Welcome to the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay. This is your positive path for spiritual living.
All right, big holiday coming up. One of the biggest holidays of the year. No, it's not Thanksgiving. No, it's not Christmas. No, it's not New Year's. It's Halloween. Very significant spiritual holiday. Did you know that? And the reason it's so significant is just think about it. This is the one day of the year where we really fully utilize our imagination to make ourselves into a character that will frighten us and others. Oh, wait a minute. That's every day. It's every day, my friends. That's what we've done. You know, we're pure love incarnate, and yet we've created this image, this costume, this mask to throw over ourselves that frightens us every time we look in the mirror, and it frightens everybody else because it's not true, you see. And what I hope to be able to share with you today is some ideas on how you can take off the burden of that costume, the you that you alone have created, and become your authentic and, most importantly, loving self. We're in the final week of our Spiritgroups program. We've been studying this amazing book by Gabby Bernstein, The Universe Has Your Back, not just today, not just tomorrow, this week, every single moment of your eternal life. The universe is here. It's working on your behalf. It's here to support you. Whether you can believe that or not is a different story. But I hope that by the time we're finished today, you'll be able to believe it a little more easily than perhaps you ever had before. I want to issue a special thank you to all of those who have participated in our Spiritgroups program this year as hosts and as participants. I have received a flood of emails and texts and correspondence and phone calls from people who have been blessed by the program this year. I think we had the perfect book. It was subtitled Transform Fear into Faith. Relevant, maybe? I think so. And you know, an interesting thing about this book is that every single week, if you really pull back and look at it, and Gabby herself acknowledges this in the pages of the book, every single week, every single chapter that we've delved into has essentially been telling you and me the same thing. And the message is, face adversity with love. Face adversity with love. Now, for the vast majority of us, when we are confronted with adversity, the last resource we pull on is love. We pull on fear, we pull on defense, we pull on gathering other individuals who will support our perspective based on our judgment that we have been wronged, that the situation is unfair, and then we gather together and we are headed off in a direction that is anything but toward love. I love these words, speaking of love, that Gabby shares in The Universe Has Your Back. Listen to this because it may trigger you a little bit. I'm not going to say it didn't even trigger me a little bit, but here they are. The more love you bring to the world, the more you will inspire others to live in love. And then they will do the same. The ripple effect of love is what changes patterns, creates peaceful revolutions, and ends wars. You may feel that your power is lost in the hands of some insane CEO, terrorist, or fear-based world leader. It is not. Your power lies in your capacity to spread love. Your power is not dependent. You know, this is so contrary to everything that we have been erroneously educated toward. Your power doesn't lie. No one, no thing has any power over you except yourself. And you are, by virtue of divine creation, made in the image of love. There's no greater power anywhere. And I think that even though we might have some some moments of resistance to this. I'm not love. The love that I am can't change everything. I think also at the same time, there's something inside of you and me that resonates with it because we haven't completely forgotten who we are. That we are love, and that love is the only thing that is going to change. And if you can't recognize yourself to be love and then begin to make contributions of love into the world, how do you think we will ever have a loving world? You think that the world is something more or less than all of us who are a part of it? So it's an individual commitment. And I know this word love is so incredibly overused, like I love chocolate. And I love good food, and I love good company, and I love the color blue, and all of that has some relevance. But I think, though love in its absolute sense cannot really be defined, it can be felt. And beyond your likes and dislikes and preferences that you may utilize the word love to address, I think that there is a feeling that we've all had. Do you remember, and I'm sure you do, the first time you fell in love? Oh my God. You have met the incarnation of the divine in your individualized presence, and they are perfect. Yeah? They're perfect. I love you so much. You could do anything, and it wouldn't impact my love for you because you're just the greatest thing that ever happened to me. All right, we've all been there, and it's almost like euphoric. It's almost like a drug high. It's like, and we all know that feeling. And then what happens? Well, things begin to go awry eventually, and our picture of love, our idol of love, begins to crumble as we recognize what we now realize they always were. Is that really so, or is it that we are beginning to project onto them something other than the perfection of love that we initially saw within them? I really do believe, and not everybody agrees with me on this, that when you fall in love with somebody, you are in that moment where you can behold their perfection. You don't have any issues against them, so you're all embracing. And then what happens is the human conditioning steps in and starts to lay demands, expectations, and all of a sudden this image of perfection becomes an image of nothing less than hell. We've all been there, okay? So the great thing we can learn from that experience of falling in love, thank God there's something we can learn from it, is that it feels good to love. Remember, when you fell in love, it feels good. And it doesn't feel good to not love. So the more you're feeling good, the more you can pretty much be assured you're in some way aligned with love. We talked about that last week. I want to talk with you today about taking an unloving thoughts inventory in your life. Now, this is going to require immense honesty, brutal honesty almost. But I believe that it is the ticket to your being able to be an agent for love in the world. And I believe that all the circumstances we're facing right now are an invitation for you to be just that, the presence of love in this world. So it begins by taking a moment to just ask your higher nature, ask the universe, as Gabby puts it, to show you all of your unloving thoughts. Now, this is a bold move to make. And you may think, I don't have that many unloving thoughts. Let's take an inventory. It begins taking one whole day to monitor, to invite the awareness of unloving thoughts. It starts when you first wake up. Check out your dreams. What happened in your dreams? Were they dreams or were they nightmares? Were they loving or were they sharing with you experiences? I've actually been having this experience where when I wake up in the morning, I've been having dreams for weeks now, and they all deal with my past. And they all deal, as I began to look at it, I thought, what is all these characters from my past, all these people, all these places from my past? And I began to gradually get that as I had committed to doing this love inventory, which I try to do this unloving thought inventory that I try to do every day, there were experiences coming to me in my dreams from the past. And when I looked at them, more often than not, they were situations where I was still condemning myself, or I hadn't made peace with myself about some past behavior or some past circumstance or situation. So my dreams were actually, first thing in the morning, sharing with me some of the inventory of my unloving thoughts toward myself and occasionally toward others. The first 5 minutes that you're still laying there in bed, just check out the content, the mental content of your sphere of awareness, and try to look for anything that is not making you feel good in that moment. And recognize that that not feeling good is an indication of some unloving thought that you're holding in your mind. Find the loving thought and just be willing then to release it. But first of all, just identify it. A lot of us are running around with a lot of unloving thoughts and we don't even realize it. And then we wonder why we don't have happier relationships, more money in the bank, a healthier body, whatever it may be. So the first 5 minutes. Now think about the day ahead. Just check in with yourself. With whom do you have appointments? Where are you going to be going? And as you're moving through the course of this day in your mind, just be aware, are there any triggers that rise up? Ooh, I had a bitter battle with that person last week, and I'm not looking forward to seeing them. Unloving thought. Oh, I've got a meeting, and it's a sensitive subject, and there's liable to be conflict without resolution. Stop right there in your tracks. Unloving thoughts. Now, hear me again, my friends. It is impossible to create. It's like Gandhi said, I think it was Gandhi, be the change that you want to see. You cannot expect the world to become a loving place if you're still harboring all these unloving thoughts in your own mind. Think about the day ahead. Think about the past, whether it comes from your dreams or just remembering what happened yesterday. Are there any resentments, any hostilities that might be there? And can you identify them and recommit yourself to waking up to being the presence of love in the world? Anything regarding the future, from this afternoon until next year, anything that you're holding on to that might be making you feel bad. Now, here is a real surefire way, but not necessarily a pleasant way to find out if you're holding any unloving thoughts. Turn on your television. Watch a mainstream news broadcast. See what happens inside of you. And I'd like to tell you right now that I can turn on anything on the tube at any time, and I'm just like, raptured in perfect love. But I'm not. All manner of kind of stuff comes at me, and actually stuff is a very nice word. All manner of stuff starts to come at me, and I'm just getting triggered all over the place. Honestly, I can't watch news for more than 5 minutes. Well, that's real important to me. I'm professing to you right now that I want to be an agent, an ambassador of divine love in the world, and yet I'm having all of these unloving thoughts. They are not pretty, they are not fun, but they're there. I don't want to hold on to those anymore, my friends. I don't care how compelling whatever it is that I'm experiencing is. I want to be this agent of love. Now, if the newscast doesn't do it, here's another great way to become enlightened. Just pull out your telephone, your phone, and start scrolling through Facebook and see how many times you get triggered, how many times an unloving thought might come into your mind or to your head. It's a wonderful tool for this. You know, I've had friends that I would have sworn to you I was unconditionally loving toward, and I see something they posted on Facebook, and it's like, oh my God, you know, where went this agent, this ambassador of divine love that I am telling everybody I am every week? Gone, you know. I don't want that. You see, there's incredible opportunity because there's so many triggers everywhere right now, friends, that you can get really clearly and quickly reminded of your unloving thoughts in no small way. And if Facebook doesn't do it, then go onto your email. But, you know, you want to do this in stages gradually, you know. But just try to be aware of when you're out of alignment, when you're reacting or responding from a place that isn't loving. And then check in with your reactions throughout the day. And there's a holy host of opportunities before you to recognize unloving thoughts. And the last thing before you go to sleep at night, what you want to be able to do is rest in your bed at night and say to yourself, wow, I am a clearer, less obstructed, brighter light for love at the end of this day than I have ever been before, because I'm willing to look for those places and spaces where love isn't flourishing and let them go. Everything in your life, dear friends, is either an extension of love or a call to love. It's either an opportunity for you to give love and extend it freely, and it's being extended to you freely, or it's a call to love. And the more you find yourself in a state of negative reaction, you can rest assured you have created that circumstance. Bitter pill to swallow, but I believe it's true. You've created that circumstance as a reminder of the unloving thoughts that you are harboring. And you can make the choice to extend love instead. Gabby goes on in Universe Has Your Back to say, it may be hard to grasp the idea that spreading love can abolish terrorism, reduce gun violence, heal the environment, feed the hungry, free the enslaved, and so on. I get it, she says. I too feel defeated, powerless, and lost a lot of the time. But in moments when I remember my power lies in my capacity to spread love, I regain my strength, my certainty, and peace. We absolutely must commit to this truth in order to save the world. You think somebody else is going to save this world, you're wrong. It's the understanding that love is truly the only answer, that you as an expression of love are the only answer. So I asked you a number of weeks ago in a talk, what is your vision for yourself, for your family and loved ones, and for the world? These are important questions. I'm asking them again, but I'm going to insert another word. What is your lovely vision for yourself? What's your lovely, loving vision for yourself? What's your lovely, loving vision for your family and your friends, those you love? And what's your lovely and loving vision for humanity? My personal vision statement at present, it's always changing, is infinite intelligence and creativity expressing unconditionally as love, peace, joy, life, abundance, and unity. That's the vision that I'm holding for my life and that I'm holding for your life right now and that I'm holding for the planet. That wonderful song that Dale was singing just a while ago, Imagine. Such power in that, such power in imagining. So here's your part now. You create this lovely, loving vision for yourself, for your loved ones, and for the world. Then you acknowledge it. This is my vision. I am infinite intelligence and creativity expressing as unconditional love for myself. You need to find your own. But my prayer is that it has an element of wanting to be a loving presence in the world, and that starts by being a loving presence in your life with those in your immediate circle. You acknowledge it, then you take a little time to imagine it. Your imagination is a great God-given gift. Imagine this vision. Such power in imagining. Everything begins with an idea in imagination. There's nothing that you're experiencing right now that didn't begin on that level, I believe. And then really feel it. You've got to be able to feel yourself as an agent for unconditional love in the world. To feel yourself as the presence of love in every interaction. You see, you're catching yourself in the unloving thought and you're saying, I'm willing to let that go and I'm willing to accept a different way of being. And finally, after you've acknowledged your vision, you've imagined it, and you're feeling it at the very core of your being, that's your part. Then comes God's part. And God's part is always an ability to empower you to be that which you are willing to release. So you've done your work, you've acknowledged it, you're imagining it, you're feeling it. Now it's time to surrender it. A number of years ago, and I just remembered this a few days ago when I was putting these comments together, when I was the minister up the road in West Palm Beach, Florida, I, one Sunday, passed out little toothpicks with pieces of paper on them, much like what you see in front of me right now. This is just a little token. Anybody can make this. It just takes toothpick, a little piece of white paper, and a little bit of Scotch tape or a stapler. And I kept this flag in my pocket as a reminder of the importance of being real clear on what it is that I desired, being real clear on my ability to feel it, and then real clear on my ability to surrender it, to let it go. So take a few moments. You can do it right now. Go find yourself a little toothpick and a little piece of paper or some symbol that will remind you of the importance of letting go. Gabby says this, we must learn to give up goals and embrace hope and faith. Goals often imply that you need to achieve something else to be happy. Remember, there's nothing wrong with visions, dreams, and desires as long as you are willing to surrender them. The key is to gently hold great visions and then release them to the universe. And ask yourself one question: how would you use me? Universe, God, divine, cosmos, all that is. How would you use me? I've done my work. I'm holding my vision. I can see it clearly. I'm willing to surrender it because I don't know what's in my best interest or the best interest of anybody anywhere, including all of humanity. One of our dear friends who was actually with us last week, if you watched the live stream last week, you were blessed by the incredible vocal talent of our own Terry DeSario, who, although no longer in Miami with us, brought her voice to us virtually. It was just a few days ago that I saw this post that she made. And it made me realize something I think I always knew. She's not just a great singer. She's a great writer. She's a great singer and a great writer because she's a great human being. Listen to these words that she posted just recently. Dear Facebook friends, and this is on the heels of the question, how would you use me? This is how the divine, the essence of love, is using Terry DeSario, I believe. Dear Facebook friends, after a lot of soul searching, I realize I have succumbed to the gesture of separation. I believe down to my bones in the transformative power of love, and I am not living up to it. Dear friends, we are never going to solve anything by politics or laws or forced social norms or rules if how we treat each other results in fragmentation, making each other the enemy because we don't agree about solutions or language or belief or that myriad of other distractions which prevents us from fulfilling our human destinies. I am here on earth to learn to love, to learn to give it, and to learn to receive it in all humility, to be enlarged by your love or suffering, to look through your words into your heart of hearts, to find that noble commonality, to discover my brothers and sisters, my kin everywhere. I intend to try to walk my talk. Let's see how well I do. Blessings on us all, dear humans. Powerful words, powerful lady. They're spoken by Terry DeSario, but I believe they're your words too. Let us together hold firm to our vision of the capacity of humanity to live and thrive and grow and love together. Let us release all the mechanics of how that is to happen to the cooperation and the divine conspiracy of the universe. And let us awake every morning and drift off to sleep every night saying to ourselves, to the world, and to God, how would you use me? And then let it be done.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay, a spiritual community located in Miami, Florida. Unity on the Bay is supported by the generosity of its community. If you'd like to make a donation or learn more about Unity on the Bay, please visit unityonthebay.org. You can also follow Unity on the Bay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for even more positive spiritual inspiration. Until next time, thanks for listening and many blessings. Namaste.